And he said to Abraham, you take 4 birds and you put them on 4 mountains and you call the birds and they come and they light in your hand. He said that is the sign of the resurrection of the dead. Abraham didn't create the birds nor the mountains on which the birds were placed, nor was Abraham the author of the call nor the creator of the hand that would hold the birds. But when he called and the birds answered his call coming from the 4 mountains, this was the clearest sign of the resurrection of the dead. Our teacher Elijah Muhammad said that we are a people that are mentally dead. Dead because we lacked the knowledge of God, the knowledge of self, the knowledge of our history and our culture. And as I think Carter Woodson said, as a tree without roots is dead, a people separated from their history is also dead. But not only are we dead, the whole of humanity is under death. For those of us who read the Bible, and I read the Bible a lot, in the New Testament it reads, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death came also by sin. All men have sinned, and all are under death. So as the first Adam was made a living soul, the second Adam was made of a quickening spirit. Very interesting. I'm not going into a theological explanation and exegesis of Scripture, but you know, I just love the Bible and Quran, and the Word of God is my love. And I want to say to all who serve, the Word of God is your strength in service.
Amen.
Believe me, if I may take the liberty to speak for Thomas Jefferson, if I may take the liberty to speak for the founding fathers of this nation, none of them, I should say all of them, were God-fearing men that didn't have a good view of us, you know, but they were God-fearing to a degree. They never intended for the separation of church and state that presently exists. In fact, I heard a preacher recently talk about a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote, because this is not in the Constitution, separation of church and state. But it came from a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote in answer to a question. How could state be separated from church when it is from God and His Word that the state comes?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Hello. Come on.
I want you to just think with me. How could you, as mayor, I would say, Sister Mayor, how could you, as a beautiful legislator, and those of you that are on city councils and whatnot, how could you dare to think that God has no place in your governance when you have no power to govern except by that which He has put into existence, over which is His governance? You learn nothing about governance except from God. Sorry about this now. So don't ever think you can govern anything without God. And God should never be introduced as a prayer. And then the Word of God just give us a prayer and then get out. And then we'll take care of the business. wrong. You created none of the people that you are legislating for. You created nothing that you are in an office to serve over. So without God, who is the only creator, how dare us think that we can govern without God? Yeah. How dare us think we can have proper education without God? If somebody disrespects the headmaster of the school or the teacher of the class, that is time for some kind of censure, rebuke, or expulsion. Isn't that true? Well, all right then. Who is the headmaster of the school of life? Who is the headmaster of every discipline that you are striving to learn more about? It is God. And without God and your respect and recognition of God, He rebukes you and expels you from the classroom, and that is why governance today is failing. Right. In fact, everything we're doing today could be done better, but it won't be done better unless we recognize Him who can help us to do it better. You never get too hip for God. You never get knowledge so much that you can deny God because you have a PhD and a weak one at that. So the respect of God in all our matters is the key to doing it better. David the psalmist says, lean not on thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Now, why are you saying this, brother? You invited here as a guest of Her Honor the Mayor and all these distinguished people. Why are you talking like this? You know, East St. Louis is a strange place. Don't run me out. Because I feel at home. And you know why this is strange? Because it's an all-black administration. Yes, sir. Yes, right. That's strange in America. And we have a chance to show America how governance should be. How righteousness, if it prevails, over our pettiness, over our party considerations, over the fact that the mayor didn't come up with the sanction of powerful folk that thought it may should have been somebody else. Well, we should leave that alone. Yes, sir. We got a city to run, and we got to run it to the best of our ability. And personality conflict should not be bigger than the cause of the people's agenda. If I stepped on anybody's toe, I won't say too bad. I would just say that, you know, I would love to see East St. Louis set an example for St. Louis. I would like to see East St. Louis set an example for Chicago and New York and LA and the big cities. You know, God started you and me with one cell. A little sperm mixed with ovum created one cell, and from that one cell we've become billions of cells working for one common cause, the continuing of the life of this body. My dear and beloved brothers and sisters, don't look down on yourself because this is a small municipality. Jesus came out of a manger.